Hello and welcome to the training. Today we're going to teach you how to download your invoices. Congratulations on closing out your first auction. We know that this can be an exciting time, so we're excited to show you how to get into the system and download those invoices and get prepared for your removal. As we said in the intro video, we're going to break this into 3 sections to help us keep our focus. Those sections are, first, how to do the actual process of downloading your invoices. Secondly, when is the best time to download those invoices? When should you do it? And then thirdly, what are your next steps after your invoices have been downloaded? Before we jump into this, you may want to grab a pen and paper to jot down any questions that you might have and to make any notes that come to mind. I'll be pausing a couple times just for a few seconds to give you some time to write those questions down. And as a reminder, you can always pause the video. This is a YouTube video, and rewind to recap any info that you may have missed. All right, so with that said, let's get started. Your first step is to log in to your affiliate account, and with most things that we do under the affiliate account, we're going to jump to our dashboard. And in this case, this affiliate has a couple other auctions going, but we're going to look for our auctions waiting for settlement. So these are auctions that have closed. We can also navigate to our All Auctions tab to view the auctions that we're looking to jump into. So I'm going to jump into this auction ID 26950. And what we're going to notice is that this will always take us to our lot list. And before I jump into our list invoices section up here, you'll notice now that the auction is closed, there's a few new options. We're going to go to the list invoices section here in a second. I do want to show you kind of an advanced tip that you might want to be aware of. And that is how to sort the lot list to show you items that may not have gotten a bid. Very simple to do. All you have to do is click here on the current bid price. There's a lot of items on this auction, so it takes a little bit longer. And this can be helpful if you have a larger auction with a lot of items, and you need to get those items that didn't get a bid, put them together, give them back to the seller, resell them, whatever that situation may be. But by sorting this, I can very quickly just get those. In this case, there's only five lots on this 500 lot auction, which is an amazing number, but that didn't get a bid. So you can go ahead and just copy and paste these or jot down these lot numbers, and now you just have all the items in the auction that didn't get a bid. It's kind of an advanced pro tip, but a good one just to get you prepared. So next we're going to jump into the list invoices section. And like I said, we're going to show you 3 things. This is the first one of downloading our invoices. The list invoices section is going to show you all the bidder IDs, the bidder names, the lot numbers, amounts, all the information for the invoices in this auction. Again, we have a lot of nice sorting abilities here on this list. It's going to default to bidder ID. You can also do really quick searches for lot numbers. This one has a lot of 2 5s in it, but if you're looking for lot number 25, you could easily search and find that. You can also search by status, and this is important. Everything's going to be open immediately after the auction ends, but since we have the ability to pay online, excuse me, a lot of bidders will take advantage of that, and they will make their payments online. And you can see that when they do make that payment online through their bidder dashboard, it updates that invoice automatically for us. So we know immediately when payments were made. In this case, 12/4 at 9:25 a.m. And it's not uncommon for bidders to pay even the night that the auction closes as well. And the reason that that's important is these bidders have paid prior to showing up to your removal. So you're going to need to know that information. And when they've made payment before we've downloaded our invoices, it's going to notate that directly on the invoices for us. So how do we download those invoices? It's a great question. It is right here underneath our invoice list. You're going to see the option to click here, download, print all invoices in this auction. Another nice feature, which I would recommend doing, although it's not a requirement for you, is to include a signature line on your invoices. And what that can do for you is just add a little extra layer of protection stating that the buyer did come and pick up their items. All it is a signature line with their name stating, hey, we picked up this item. Again, not a requirement. Very useful if someone's sending an employee or someone else in their behalf to pick up their items. You may want to write a little note on the invoice. I would recommend getting their driver's license, writing down that information, the driver's license ID, right there on the invoice, just to have that information of who picked up the items for this bidder. So in this case, I am going to include the signature line, and I'm going to click here to download and print all of our invoices, and there are a number of them on this auction, so it might take a little bit. And it's going to give us a list of all of our invoices here. You'll notice if you've uploaded your logo, it's going to have that on our invoices and this pick list here. And what this pick list is another really nice feature that you can use however you need to. One very common way to use it is to group items together for larger invoices. Say this bidder 34207 has a number of items that we want to get prepared for them. So if I show up the day before the removal or a couple hours early in the morning, I'd want to go through and start getting those bigger invoices together to make that removal process just a little easier. There's also a received by signature line here that you could use. A lot of people will make notes over here specifically regarding calls made halfway through the removal. Not a bad idea to start calling bidders who haven't shown up yet. Just, hey, just a quick reminder, seeing where you're at, what time you're expecting to come here for the removal. We want to get ready for you. Just making notes, hey, we made that call at 12:30 p.m. or whatever that may be. So you'll see this is a lot of invoices on this pick list, but I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it's going to take us right into our invoices here. So underneath the pick list, that's where it starts with our bidder invoices. And again, you're going to have your logo up here if you've uploaded one. You'll notice that in the right-hand corner, it's always going to have the bidder ID or bidder number. And then in the left-hand corner, you're going to have all of that contact information. So if you need to call the bidder or send them an email reminder, whatever that may be, whatever you need to use that information for regarding the removal of these assets. The only difference between the affiliate invoice and the bidder invoice that they receive on their dashboard is that they will not have these options here of notating how they paid. So this is only available on the affiliate invoices. And again, our signature line here that notates we picked up these lots, that will also not be on the bidder's invoice. I'm just going to scroll down to an invoice that has a couple different lots. Here's one with a lot of different items here and even a vehicle. And you'll see that this notated with a little star here means that there's additional fees tied to this vehicle. And in this case, they must have been a dealer. We're getting a little deep here, but there are vehicle fees that are assigned to this item here. But you'll see everything is separated out into line items here. And then we have our totals down at the bottom. So the total bid total for this bidder was $7,270. Buyer's premium, $762. So the purchase price is $8,032. The other fees for the vehicle that was sold. And then we have our sales tax as well. So the total bid price or the total invoice price on this bidder's invoice, which is has a lot of different things going on in it, but a good example to show you is $8,182.53. So no matter how they pay, that would be their grand total here. If this bidder was tax exempt, we could take a look at our subtotal pre-tax amount here and not include our sales tax amount. So in that case, no matter which state you're in, you definitely want to collect the paperwork required to remove sales tax. In Minnesota, that's called an S-23 form. Every state has their own, depending on your jurisdiction there. One other thing I wanted to show you was an example of an invoice that was paid online, just to see how that will look for you. There will be one coming up here. This is a good time to make some of those notes that I was talking about earlier. And here we go. Very clearly, this is indicated that this bidder has paid with their card on file. So they already paid via credit card. And when you print this off, you're already going to know that. It's gonna tell you right here, and you can see that bidder 77520 has made that payment online. So our recommendation is to print off 2 copies of these invoices. What you'll do is you'll download it as a PDF, and there you can print it off as 2 separate copies. Not a bad idea to do a copy in white and then maybe a copy in blue or yellow. 2 different colors. That makes it easy because you're going to give one receipt to the customer and then keep one for yourself. When they're all the same color, that's where confusion happens, especially in an auction like this size where you have 100 bidders coming for removal. Just whatever you can do to make your life easier during the removal process is gonna save you time and energy and stress and all those things. So, all right. So I'm going to scroll back here, or hit the back button to take us back into our invoice list. And that is the main way that you're going to download your invoices. Again, up here, the click here to download and print all. Now there is one other way. If you need an individual invoice, you'll see next to each bidder there is a view and process button. But if we click the view button here, it's going to show us just that bidder's invoice, and in this case it will not have that signature line. But you can always print off, one at a time if you need it. That's all going to be here. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds here just to write down any questions you might have. Reset. We're going to jump into step 2 real quick of those sections that we're going to go through today. So about 10 seconds to write down your questions, and we'll follow up with those in a second. All right. So as promised, the second section we're going to talk about here is when is the best time to download those invoices. And the best answer there is before your removal. Many will download them the night that the auction closes, and many will wait till the next day. Again, since those bidders do have the ability to pay online, even the night that the auction closes, it's not a bad idea to give yourself a little time, maybe noon the next day, if your removal is not for 2 days after the auction closes, to download and print those invoices, because that will have all of your paid invoices marked and notated already for you. So in that case, as far as when, these invoices are generated 5 minutes after the entire auction closes. So if you have, the auction's scheduled to close at 7:30 and the last item closes at 8 p.m., at around 8:05, those invoices are going to be available to you and to the bidder on the bidder dashboard. And from the bidder dashboard, that's where they can make payment directly to you through Square or your merchant account, whichever one you have set up in your system. To jump back one step real quick, you can very quickly verify when payments have been made online through this invoice list already. You'll see that this is notated up here. We have 24 invoices that are paid card on file. And how we can do that is very quickly sort by the paid card on file status. So if bidder 299721 says, hey, I paid for my invoice, but it was after you printed your copies of the invoices, all you'd have to do is log into your dashboard, go into the list invoices of the auction, and sort by payment type. to verify that that payment has gone through. And it should work. It will work on a mobile phone as well. So if you're out in the field, depending on which credit card merchant you're using, Square will likely send you an email every time a payment is made as well. So there's a number of different ways to verify that payment has been received. So the third and final section of this training is, what are your next steps? Well, your next steps in this process are going to be to attend your removal, get bidders their items, collect payments, all those fun things. What you will not do at this point is worry about the processing. That's going to be our next training video that we're going to go through. And the processing is done on this page primarily, but that is the actual process of changing this from an open status to a paid status. And that could be paid credit card, paid cash. You don't have to worry about that right now. It's not an immediate thing that needs to be done. We're going to handle that in the next training process for you. One more thing I do want to show you as far as being prepared and being ready within the knowledge base and getting ready for your removal. If you go to the auction software procedures, we have an entire section here on post-auction. And that's going to go through online payments. I mentioned how to check if an invoice has been paid online. Also, a really good resource on preparing for your removal, just some best practices that we put together. Have a plan for phone calls, get your signs ready, have a plan for parking and traffic, get those lots put together based on the winning bidder invoices. We even have a removal preparation checklist here below with just some, not so easy things and some things that you would have assumed would be on here. So some really good information here. Print these off, take them with you for the first couple auctions. You'll get it down, but we found that it's really helpful to have a checklist like this, at least in the beginning of your process, so you get that ingrained in your systems. So again, the knowledge base is full of great information, so do not be afraid to use that. That's why we've created it. You're getting ready for a removal the next day. It's 10 o'clock at night. We want you to have all of the information that you need on demand. So I'm going to click out of our knowledge base there. I'm going to get out of this invoice. We're back on the list invoices section. So the next steps for you are to get done with your removal. We're going to touch base and get you into the next training of processing invoices once that removal is complete and your invoices are paid and you're ready to go. You can notify us by emailing affiliateservices@k-vidmail.com, and we will get that next process and the training steps going, get you in the next video, answer any questions that you may have. Please reach out. If it's before your removal, let us know if we can be of any help and get you prepared. That being said, we are extremely excited for you to be on board. We love bringing on new affiliates in this process and seeing what this business can bring. Congratulations on closing your first auction. It's an exciting time. Don't forget to take advantage of this situation at your removal. You're talking with bidders, you're conversing with buyers, and it's a fun aspect of this business, and you never know where your next auction will come from. So keep your branding in mind, keep what you want to represent in mind, be helpful, get back on those phone calls, all those best practices that we've talked about. But to recap here on what we just learned, we went through 3 main steps. The first one was the actual process of downloading your invoices. The second one was when is the best time to download those invoices, and some more on the timing. And then lastly is, what are your next steps? So we've gone through that. We are excited for you. Have fun at your removal, and let us know if you have any questions.